Audiobook Academy. Book Summary. The Old Man in the Sea. By Ernest Hemingway. For the first time, a short story called The Old Man in the Sea was published in the magazine Life in 1952. We learn the thoughts of the main character through an inner monologue. This novel's plot isn't the most important part of it. It's all about the interplay between humans and the natural world. At first, Santiago appears to be a man who has given up on life and has no courage, but as the story unfolds, we see him as the true hero who embodies courage and faith. Santiago's encounter with the fish is described in an unusual way. Life experience, courage and wisdom all came in handy during the fight with the fish. This battle was won by the human spirit and strength. Santiago respects her with respect even though the fish is draining him. After all, she is a formidable competitor. No matter what happened to his catch, Santiago remained victorious because he had the fortitude to rise above his life's adversity. His primary objective was to demonstrate that he is still capable of engaging in combat. He was saddened by the fish's suffering and eventual death. Because it is just about 200 pages long, the book was not separated into chapters. Despite the lack of chapters, the book opens with Santiago and a young kid getting ready for the day ahead. Everything took place during the Havana Prayer, which is held in Cuba. It's set in the year 1950. Joe DiMaggio was the king of baseball at the time. Despite the fact that the story takes place in the 1950s, the protagonist occasionally looks back on the past. It's possible to locate descriptions of a small fishing village and images of a small cottage with a bed, a chair, and a table that had no mattress in it. Santiago, an elderly fisherman, lived in Havana's prayer hall. He had a boat and some fishing gear as his only possessions. He hasn't caught a fish for 84 days now. For the first 40 days, he was accompanied and assisted by a youngster named Manolín. Because they were convinced that this boat was cursed, his parents arranged for him to work on another. Santiago had a tight relationship with the boy, who adored him. He appreciated the fact that Santiago regarded him as a sincere friend and equal co-worker. In addition to their shared interests, the fisherman even came to wake up the boy every morning. Santiago went fishing on the 85th day of the month. In his first outing, he caught a fish, but it was so large that it was dragging the entire boat along with it. Santiago had a 2-day battle with her and had suffered greatly. He spoke to the fish and a bird during the fight. He recalled his childhood, his past, and his dreams. He eventually prevailed in the struggle and secured the fish to his boat with a rope. It dwarfed the boat in terms of size. Sharks attacked him as he returned to shore. They were enthralled by the fish's bloody scent. In spite of this, Santiago refused to let go. He fought the shark, but when he got to shore, all that was left were the bones of the fish he had just caught. He went to sleep quickly since he was exhausted. When he saw his wounds, the youngster broke down in tears. Santiago's exhaustion from the struggle was quickly discovered by other fishermen and tourists alike. He was a popular guy. In the end, Santiago fought to the finish and was a courageous hero. The moral victory was his, despite his loss of the fish. He never gave up, and this tale is built on the bravery, humanism, and courage that he exhibited throughout his ordeal. It is impossible to defeat a guy. Santiago was a quiet, introverted, and lonely man with a fascinating past. There is a strong sense in the interaction with the boy that Santiago dislikes talking about his feelings. A guy of strength and selflessness, he is praised for his deeds. He was a pauper who owned no more than a boat and a few pieces of fishing gear. In addition, he was wearing only one shirt. He fished barefoot the entire time. Considering how much he enjoyed sports, especially baseball, it's no wonder he regularly considered the careers of some of the sport's most notable figures. The boy had brought him an old newspaper with him, so he used that to keep up with the latest sports news. Manolín has a special place in his heart for Santiago since he taught him how to fish. Santiago's treatment of him as an adult was one of the many things that made him fall in love with him. The youngster took care not to offend Santiago in any way. He would bring him some food from the hotel, but he always tried to maintain his pride because Santiago was still a man who cared about his fisherman lifestyle even though he had very little. Even though his parents had told him not to, the child stayed with him. Santiago's youth and faith in his own abilities are embodied in Manolín. On the one hand, Santiago represents youth and vigor, while on the other, the youngster represents a cycle of events that never ceases to turn. Thank you for listening in Audiobook Academy. Don't forget to subscribe and smash that like button for more content like this. See you in next video.